Hey everybody, it's ZOE game night.
Yay!
Hurrah! I've got all kinds of great people in the studio with me tonight. I've got Luke and Brian. Wait, holy crap!
What?
You guys see what I see? Oh no, you don't. You only see me. Why are you looking at me? Why are you looking at me? Oh!
A wild Brian Lewis has appeared!
Then 5 more minutes of that, and then we can start.
Seems on par.
Yeah.
We're going to be playing some more Savage Worlds tonight. Some of you at home are slightly familiar with this rule set that we've been messing around with for a little bit.
No reason.
Yeah, there would be absolutely no reason that we are predominantly using it on ZOE Game Night. There couldn't be any secret things being worked on behind the scenes. There would be no projects, nothing to look out for, and nothing to ever consider that might possibly involve this rule set.
I don't know, this seems kind of fishy. You're saying one thing,
And definitely no clues
But it's
to
like
it.
we're in
Somewhere in this
another.
room.
I'm inferring something different from your words, sir.
We really like the Savage World system in addition to it being what we're playing here. It's fun, it's random, it has some really neat features that are kind of unique to it. One of my favorites is using a deck of cards for initiative.
Ooh,
Lose something down there, Brian?
I sure did.
Just a standard poker deck used for initiative makes things
Brian,
really...
just now has learned the uncomfortable truth that real streamers don't wear pants.
Yeah. That's
Spoiler.
It's murky down there.
that's why all those other dice and tokens and pencils are down there. When we drop them,
we don't even bother going to pick them up.
it's gone.
It's like keys in a
Forever.
river of lava.
Yeah, but don't.
Let it
Just
go.
don't. You got to leave that behind. Now
Speaking
Savage
of
Worlds, Savage Worlds also uses a mechanic called a wild die. So whenever you're making any kind of a trait test, you get to roll this little wild die. It's a 6-sided dice you roll no matter what. You get to add whatever you're rolling down, and a 4 is generally a success on any skill roll you're attempting to do. Anything that you beat that roll by more than 4, that's called a raise. If you beat a roll by 8, that's 2 raises. 12, 3 raises, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of poker-named mechanics in this game.
So an ace, for example, is if you roll the highest you can on a die, it's called an ace.
Cool.
And that is the other wonderful thing. Dice, when you ace, explode. Then you get to roll it again and add it to the previous result. So if you keep rolling the highest result of the die, you can get some amazing results.
Unless you're rolling for a negative.
But,
you get some
yeah.
pretty impressive results.
That was feng shui. Thankfully, there are no negative dice to hurt you in this like there are in feng
Thank
shui.
God.
Those are really kicking your ass.
It was like...
Yeah, they were
oh my
really
God.
getting you.
was real rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Couldn't get a success in there.
Not a
You were
single
rolling
one.
double 6s on everything, so...
But both my positive and negative dice, so I was having these okay successes
was
that were
rolling
just
ones.
massively built up.
Plus 24 and minus 23.
Yay.
Wow, that looked like a lot, but it really wasn't. The other fun part about Savage Worlds is the diversity in various game worlds and genres you can play in. Anywhere from classic fantasy to today it's going to be 1903 America on the Mississippi River.
Merca.
We'll be in St. Louis for our show this evening, where a riverboat is being held on a judge's order for 24 hours. At some point in the journey from St. Paul to St. Louis, a wealthy individual on board was murdered. And it is up to our investigators to solve this murder. Now, each of them has their own motivation for being here, whether they were sent by a superior, hired, or they're just trying to do their job. But either way, these poor bastards have to work together or work against each other in an attempt to solve this murder, or not solve this murder, depending on what their motivation is. Well, we have to find out.
I can't
Now-
wait to find out.
I can't either. It's a mystery.
The ship is named the Silver Eileen. She is not some simple cruise ship for the river that the common folk to get to take. The Silver Eileen is only for incredibly upscale customers. There are no standard quarters on board the Silver Eileen. They are all stateroom quarters. This is not the kind of ship that someone just takes back and forth. So every single one of the 38 passengers on board is someone of importance and wealth, which is why the judge can only hold the boat and passengers for 24 hours, beyond which they're going to need to leave, and if they don't, they've got a powerful and influential friends who will make a lot of trouble. It also means that you have to tread carefully in dealing with them. These are important people, wealthy people, relatives of senators and congressmen, governors, lawyers, business owners.
Ice cream parlor owners. I don't know who that is.
A little early yet, but
Howard Johnson.
So shaved ice then? No?
shaved ice, yes, most definitely.
No, good.
Most definitely. Ice cream.
Shaved ice on a moving train. That's the life.
That's America.
That's America right there.
Nice
truly
Texas,
is.
though.
And it's in fact where we're going to start is with just outside the riverboat, all of the investigators have arrived. And I know I've just tossed you into these characters, but take them, make them your own, and take a minute and tell the audience watching at home who you are and why you're here and what you're about.
Who would like to start?
You were the one who just spoke.
All right, cool.
He who sells it something.
Make a rhyme.
My name is Sheriff Poe. I am 20 years old. I was elected 3 days ago, and this is my first murder. I don't know why I'm here. Mayor said I had to be here, but it looks handled.
Well, we got one volunteer down. Who's next?
So I am Adrian Hatherty. I can read, promise.
Prove
I am
it.
Agent. No, you prove it. Okay, I am Agent Hatherty. I am one of the members of the esteemed Pinkerton agents. Don't boo or I'll shoot you.
Pretty sure still boo.
Double boo.
I'm here to make sure that everything goes smoothly and we catch this murderer without any scandal. Also, my hindrances are mean and hard of hearing.
What?
What?
And yes, I do have my own dice this time, so
Yeah, you did.
hopefully I
Oh,
can
plan
be a
for it.
contributing member of the
Well
party.
done. Well done.
I'm telling you, you contributed last time.
By being the clown. Like, I was the comic relief the entire time.
Good gig.
Yeah,
I thought I
not
was.
We were all really funny.
Yeah, but you actually, did something. Anyway, who's next?
I am U.S. Marshal Graves. Unlike this gentleman here, this will not be my first rodeo. Perhaps, in fact, it will be my last. I'm hoping to retire to better take care of my hip, which is just bothering me something terrible. Hoping to hand off my duties to this fine, upstanding, educated so-and-so, and better attend to my to my needs.
Well, I'm trying to find my own voice here, and trying to see what I can learn from my friend here, U.S. Marshal
Great.
Grays. I'm Jonathan Ford, and I'm apparently from the East Coast.
Well, that explains the something
Yeah. No. Educated in the East Coast. That's right. Aha. Yeah.
Deeply committed to fitting in on the local level.
That's right.
wrong. Call undercover with the blood. Damn the credit.
Rex and a basketball. What could be better?
I'm not exactly. I think I'm actually one to continue that accent. I think I'm probably just gonna to get it rid of it right now.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. See ya. Can I commit? No, I cannot. But yeah, I'm more of a pacifist. I like to do things in more of the new school way in 1903, and see what I can learn.
All right.
I haven't done this before, guys. Come on.
Have fun. You're doing great. You're doing great.
Yeah.
All
There are
right.
no rules.
Fair
I
enough.
am Texas Ranger Rick Dale. I will go by the name of Texas Ranger Rick Dale. You may call me Ranger. You may call me Ranger Dale. You may not call me Rick. I think we should be clear on that. There's only one type of justice to be had here today, and that is Texas justice, everyone. The most important kind. Now, I don't know about all this old school and all this new school, but I'm from the schools where if you're talking too much, you get punched in the mouth. You draw down on a man, you best expect to get shot. That's police work, right?
Not exactly, no.
Well, it's Texas justice. If we find out who this is, this may very well turn into a bloodbath. I don't give two shits about these rich people.
Well, now, there we have an accord.
What I care about is the man who was killed was a Texan.
Oh.
And it may have happened in Texas. I don't goddamn know.
That's what
I'm gonna find out.
Whole thing. I didn't realize this was a Texas murder.
My wife tells me I eat too much bacon. I think I'm fine.
Definitely no blood pressure issues there.
What's blood pressure?
See if that doesn't make your head pound after you yell a bunch.
Yeah, there you go.
God damn it, I'll shoot any man who says otherwise.
It is most definitely that pain you get in your head after yelling too much.
Thought I heard that from my doctor.
I could tell you were yelling, but I couldn't hear a bit.
What a first assignment.
The man in question who was murdered was Texan oil baron Rutherford Turndale.
Rutherford?
Mm-hmm.
The name's Rutherford.
Rutherford Turndale.
And that's the
That is
victim?
the victim. No one has disturbed or touched his quarters, his stateroom where the body was found, since he was discovered. No one wanted to tamper with anything.
Well, I would suggest giving the room a once-over would be the place to start.
What the hell for?
Okay,
You shoot in an empty room!
so outside of Texas, sometimes we look for these things called
Clues.
see, he got it. He got it.
I read the book.
And evidence. So that's what we're gonna go see if we can see anything.
Well,
there.
outside of Texas, they eat things other than cow, too. Don't mean I'd do it.
I thought you just said you ate bacon.
Yeah, that famous cow
Bacon comes from cows.
Guys,
You know,
guys,
we're not
I
gonna
think
argue
we can
about
all
shit, man,
agree
who said-
bacon comes from cows. Don't poke the Texan.
All right.
It's not worth wrestling.
Who thinks they can beat me wrestling?
Next, you're gonna try to tell me that eggs come from chickens.
What the hell did you just say, Pinkerton?
Nothing. I think something about one of her clients. It's fine. It's fine.
In addition to the body in the stateroom, there are 38 passengers, 7 crew members, and there are 3 officially sanctioned security men who generally attend to the boat, but they're not exactly.
They are completely useless and fired.
Yeah, they aren't really known for being quite efficient at their jobs.
So,
Oh,
out
do
of
they work
character,
for the
could you repeat
Pinkertons?
those numbers?
38 passengers, 7 crew, and 3 security.
Okay, I good.
What is the amenities cart look like?
Everything.
Okay.
This ship has got the full setup. Cigar lounge, brandy, you name it.
Let's go ahead. Before we take a look at the room, I think it's important to get this going right. If I could have 3 fingers of brandy, please. I just got to settle the hip. This is going to be a lot of walking. A lot of walking today.
You probably shouldn't drink on the job.
Son,
What the hell did you just say?
I'm new to this. All right, start with three
3 fingers of brandy.
fingers.
See, we're learning it. We're learning
That's
in
right, yeah.
Texas. This is good work.
Step 1, get hammered. Yeah.
No. You don't want
Now
to be
you are
hammered.
thinking like a lawman, young man.
You don't want to be hammered, son. What you want is you want that nice medium drunk at, say, a family gathering. You know,
Right, yeah.
just take the edge off, keep you sharp.
Enough to make logical deductions that normally you would not make were you sober.
Bingo, bing, damn, go.
I think you better stick to a sarsaparilla, son.
Well, too late
Oh,
now.
I can handle my liquor.
1.5 sheets to the wind, right? Yeah, that's
Yep,
about,
yep,
yeah,
yep.
All right.
See, that's that East Coast learning. That's exactly the number to hit.
I know my numbers.
Well, let's look at the body.
All right, you
What?
open the stateroom.
Body?
And the body is still
gonna be a
there.
body?
Body.
Rutherford Turndale is he's laying on the floor on his back, about 5 feet back from the entryway door. He has a handkerchief held in one hand, and the handle of the Arkansas toothpick is still sticking out of his brisket.
I do believe that man is dead.
He's
Well, case
got
closed.
some slight bloating from the about 18 to 20 hours that have passed since he was originally discovered dead.
Yucky.
Yeah,
That's my medical assessment.
Can I quote you on that?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yucky.
I pull,
Print
up
that in
my,
journal.
I pull up my stylish neckerchief.
it is an improvement.
I pull out my lavender scented one.
Aha.
And I've got
No,
my
you
glass of
do
red.
I can't smell do all the snuff I've been doing.
Everyone
You can't hear
but
or smell?
everyone but Jonathan,
I'm
give me a
afraid I
notice
don't.
check.
And is this one where we use the...
Always use the wild.
Always use a wild die.
Okay.
You have an auto success on this one, so we're going to see about
That's
the rest of
another
them if
explode.
they happen to notice too.
Do we all have notice because we're cops?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh boy.
I got a 17.
I made nothing.
But I rerolled
I
this.
got
Yes.
a 2.
There you go.
Well, case closed.
Wrap it all up, boys. It's clear he kills himself.
Everyone,
Clear cut case for heart
what was
attack.
yours?
Five.
His heart was
Yeah,
attacked by
everyone
a
except
100%
for the ranger notices that the handkerchief that the gentleman has in his hand happens to be of the same brand that you are holding. And it's a custom East Coast company. It's direct from New York.
Ooh.
Custom
Chamberlains
orders.
and blots.
And yours are, of course, monogrammed, as all are monogrammed that are custom ordered from them.
That's
Does-
right.
Does the monogram match the name?
The monogrammed initials are AM.
A.M.
Well, this
Yeah.
man was clearly killed in the morning.
All right, so
The handkerchief itself smells of sweet water and cigar smoke.
You guys are over there sniffing a hanky. Now, what were you talking about? Something about that. It's called a what now? A chamber what?
Chamberlain and blots is where I got this. and-
Chamberlain and Blots. It sounds like some kind of sissy gun.
No, it's a company on the East Coast that makes these handkerchiefs, and they're monogrammed. See, mine says JF for Jonathan Ford, and this one says AM, which is very different than Rutherford Turndale.
It means morning.
It's true. It does mean morning.
That is one of the things it meant. Thank you for that bit of Texas wisdom.
It also means am.
Boy, there ain't nothing that gets past you. It is downright impressive.
Well, you're
bless
damn
your
right
heart.
there is.
You
I'm
are
a
just-
Texas damn ranger.
I'm just saying. Due respect to the training. Whew. So, suppose we could try and take a look at the passenger sheet.
Kindly
See
old-
if
Oh,
there's
yes,
anybody whose name
You go over the
initials matches.
entirety of the passage. Are you looking for initials that match AM?
Yes, indeed.
There is only one set of initials on the entirety of the ship that matches AM, a man by the name of Ambrose Mason.
That's handy.
Ambrose Mason. Now, I don't know if you knew this, but those initials are AM.
Yep.
Once again, the wit astonishes.
You know, it's a really impressive lawmaker who just, puts these things out there like that.
That's all I'm
In
saying.
fact, Jonathan, you are again familiar with the name of Ambrose Mason. You believe he is an investment lawyer.
So he did do it. Case closed. We can get off this boat.
I mean,
About-
we should probably
Usually
be more
he's
lucky,
the sort of
right?
person. Usually it's the sort of person that's at place during contract negotiations and signings of wealthy individuals. The sort of guy that makes sure that all the agreements are binding and legal.
Well, and those always go along just without any hitches at all, so clearly he didn't have anything to do with it.
Well, does someone want to track down that
No,
fella?
it seems like maybe he did.
I apologize. You're right. This does bear further investigation. Thank you, Mr. Texas Lawman.
Well, just trust me, I have a bit of experience in these matters. I have killed a lawyer before.
Oh,
Two of them, in fact.
I wouldn't say that out loud too loudly. So,
It was in the pursuit of justice.
Texas
We're
Justice?
sure it was.
Is there any other kind, Marshal?
Not that I've heard. I just wanted to make sure. I'm learning so much, you
I'm
see.
getting the feeling that you two were funning on me a bit.
That is outright ludicrous.
I'm
Disrespect to Texas Lawman.
It just seems like a bad idea, doesn't it?
That's all I'm
it
saying.
gives a terrible taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
So, do I know Ambrose Mason?
You've heard the name in different circles when you spent time on the East Coast. He was well known and well respected for his work as a negotiating lawyer. The kind who called in when you were having trouble getting a deal to go through.
So I don't know the man personally.
No, just by reputation.
All right. So,
What we need to figure out is who is Am.
yeah, you know, maybe we should ask Ambrose Mason who
In-
he thinks Am is.
In a roundabout way
That
of
is a
speaking,
fine idea. Let's go find that man.
we're all am, but let's go ahead and check with him.
And who the hell is an Ambrose Mason?
He is an investment lawyer from the East Coast.
A lawyer. He probably did it.
That's what I say.
Well, I'd like to see if he's on the ship.
Absolutely. The passengers are all still on board the ship. They're all in the lower lounge area. They've been kept there since the body was discovered. They're not being allowed to leave yet, and some of them are a little upset about it. But the majority are willing to follow the judge's orders to stay on board the ship for the 24 hours while the
Take
boat
care of this
is
real quick. If
investigated.
anybody has a ball peen hammer, we can just break toes until they start talking.
This is
Okay.
what Texas justice is all
Texas
about.
justice. We're finding a murderer, someone who murdered a damn Texan.
I'd be interested in taking a look at that textbook. I tell you what.
I don't think there is one.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I find myself plumb out of hammers, so unfortunately, as much as that is a brilliant course of action, I don't think we're going to be able to do that. We might just have to talk to them.
What about wrenches?
Well, there might be some wrenches on a boat,
Damn,
but
I'm not
I'm still
normally
gonna
a fan
go.
of the Pinkerton Detective Agency, but today I'm coming around.
And today I'm having my feelings confirmed.
So,
Is this how all of you are?
Yes.
More or less.
some of us are still trying to figure that out, son.
It takes a lot out of you being a lawman.
So,
Yeah, you might as well just quit now.
Can I get another bourbon?
Two more for me.
you know, I'll take one as well.
If
Now
we're
we're
taking
getting to
drink
it.
orders,
Gentlemen, it is nearly noon.
Oh,
Switch to beer.
you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. How rude.
For God's sake, and I apologize for that,
I
Lord.
apologize. So what else is in this room? Like,
Are you going to go a thorough search of the room
I
then?
would love to do a thorough search.
Will you give me an investigation roll?
You betcha. How the hell do I do that?
Well, you take for yourself an 8-sided dice, because you have a D8 in investigation.
D8.
That's deep. That's deep.
That one, and you always get your wild
the
die
wild die.
and roll those
And just
together.
roll 'em.
And my wild die.
Wild.
Wow!
Whoa.
And you'll use the one that got the best
That'll
result.
be the 5.
Which will be the 5, which
okay.
is a success. Tossing through the room without trying to disturb too much.
I'm
You
gonna try
do
to visually-
discover a secret compartment in his trunk of clothes. And in that secret compartment is a deed for the Farmsworth mining claim.
Ooh. Farnsworth.
Now, why are you digging around that man's unmentionables?
Oh, no reason at all.
Oh, yeah, no, I had a cousin that was like that as well.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing I do when I go to murder scenes. Farnsworth what?
The Farmsworth mining claim.
Mining clan.
That must be an East Coast thing.
Yeah, you'll have to excuse the boy. He has spent a lot of time on the
He's
East
rather
Coast.
Which anyone can make a
I do
common
believe he
knowledge
was
roll.
funning on me again.
Anyone to make a common knowledge roll to see if they have heard of the Farmsworth mining claim before.
And
Well, I
do
know
that by
common knowledge.
doing knowledge.
Hey!
Common knowledge.
Oh, did you say the farm's worth mining? I got 2 raises.
Nice.
5 for me.
Alright, that's
4.
that's all
6.
successes.
Ooh, You
And
can
that
re-roll the
explodes,
6.
so you
It's
continue
re-rolling.
All
It doesn't happen to
successes.
me as well. He rolled another one.
Aha.
We both know about this.
I
He
might as well
knows
have
much more than I
there.
do.
Oh.
You, in fact, when you were doing your studies in college, did one of your case studies on the Farmsworth mining claim and know all about it.
Looky at me.
Well, this is.
It
kinda
is
handy.
quite possibly the most lucrative steel mining claim in Ohio. It's worth a lot of money. Tremendous amount.
So much money that perhaps you might want to have, I don't know, an investment lawyer to kind of like come in and arrange.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You would most definitely want an investment lawyer.
If you're wanting to take care of that.
Well,
sure.
congratulations there, Marshall. You seem to have found a piece of paper.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
Now, if nothing else, it's worth a pretty penny. I mean,
Oh, yeah, that's about the most lucrative steel mine in all of Ohio.
well, I did not
Right,
know
you
that.
are. And so,
He, in fact, is absolutely right.
I don't know exactly what
Who owns it?
the evidence bags would look like in 1903.
According to that
It's
deed,
your pocket.
Yeah.
according to that deed, Rutherford Turndale is the current owner of the Farmsworth mining claim. According to that deed, his name is the one that's on it.
All right, is he known to be the owner of it?
That
mean,
wouldn't
we-
be common knowledge, but you've got high enough results for the both of you that absolutely he was the most recent owner. Purchased it about 4 years ago.
Ooh, okay. All right. So, how's this fella dressed?
Very, very well.
Very, very well. Okay.
But you know that handkerchief that doesn't match any of his clothing colors either. In addition to the monogram not matching, he would never wear that with
This
any
man-
of his
This is
clothing.
cornflower blue. He's clearly wearing purple.
This man is not AM.
Yep.
Not just because he's
Astute
dead.
assumption.
You know, I think you may be right on that.
So what's the knife look like?
It is an Arkansas toothpick, which has a
It's like a Bowie knife with a really sharp point instead of
Yeah,
a...
rather than
Does
the
it have
single
any,
edge.
Like, decoration that might.
You know,
give
it
it
actually is a
apart from
rather
some other-
common looking knife,
Okay.
you know, really plain and simple.
Okay.
Is it
But give me a notice check now that you're really paying attention to that knife, even though you're not the best investigator at all.
Oh boy.
You tend to do your investigation at the end of a gun.
Let's see. Okay.
What you looking at there?
Usually, for the railroad.
Okay.
That explodes. So
Nope, they roll again, but in this case, you do notice.
Okay.
Huh.
I noticed something.
Oh, yes. The knife, in fact.
She
The
loudly
stab
declares.
wound. The stab wound is from below, angled up into the heart. Like, he was definitely stabbed from below.
So like, hug style or like actually shorter person?
Most likely someone shorter than him.
Okay.
Well, how tall was he?
Someone very short.
He was
really.
a Texan.
We
He
must
could've
search
been-
out the
He
nearest
was
child.
probably 9 feet tall when he was alive.
Scarcely over 6 feet. But someone very short.
So rather
Or
tall for the period.
crouched down or on their knees
Okay.
or whatever they're at. They were most certainly at a lower point, stabbing upwards
Right.
into the body.
Or
Something
preferred to
really
do
bad.
his stabbing bowling style. You know, that's also a possibility, isn't it?
Well, then
Ah,
the hilt
yes.
angle would be different on impact.
Yeah.
This is very clearly a straight thrust from a lower direction. No
yes,
curve to it.
The
Oh my
very
God, I've got
well-known
it.
bowling stab technique.
We found the person that owns this knife, and we're going to find that murderer.
Why, that is
What was that? Could
is
you repeat
right
that?
as rain. If we find the person who had that knife, then there must be the murderer. Whew.
Can I quote you on that? I'm taking notes.
Well, you know that stuff.
You're the only one that is.
Somebody's got
I
to teach
have
you marshals how to
lots of
serve Texas justice.
I got a long career
Besides
ahead
our
of me.
rookie is still standing in the hallway.
Hopefully, right?
So are you like the mayor of some...
no,
Okay,
I'm the
thank
sheriff.
you, commenter in the chat. That's exactly what went through my mind.
Huh. Oh. That's rough. Oh.
I can think of worse ways to go.
Talk about your old.
It depends on the timing. It all depends on the timing and when the stabbing takes place.
Wait a minute, I thought the initials on that thing were AM, not BJ.
Correct. That must be some sort of Eastern thing. You wouldn't worry about that.
That's just a theory.
Yeah.
Moving on, then.
Moving merrily along.
I think we should go talk to this Ambrose Mason and see just how tall this man is.
Well, what the hell does that gotta do with anything?
You know, I honestly don't think I should even try with you.
Let's go see if he's a short fella.
I thought I was the hard of hearing one.
What?
Let's see. I think that's a great idea, and I like, you know, some of us can stay here, and others of us can go down and do that, or we can take a look at the room a little bit more closely, make sure that we got all the clues before moving on.
So we leave the old man behind. Is that what you're saying? I think you probably get along just fine, old timer. Don't even worry about it.
Also, anytime there's a chance I am taking a seat.
Oh yeah, I assume you've been sitting down since you came into the room.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to notice from, over here.
Pulled up a chair to sit down.
You know, I hear back east they have those chairs that actually have wheels on them now.
Ooh, it's the future now, times.
And not just
Or
for
the end
offices.
times. Not just for offices.
No, also for hospitals.
I'm gonna have to look into
Transportation
that.
while you're sitting?
That's what they say. Wave of the future, I've heard, I'm told.
Everyone is combing the room. Give me an investigation check.
You heard of that flying machine?
Heard of that.
Yeah, that came up from, also out east.
Don't trust it.
North Carolina way, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So if I roll double sixes, do they both
They
explode?
both explode.
What am I looking for? Just
They're
talk-
searching through the room, searching for evidence, looking
No,
around
I'm
everything.
looking around.
Okay. Make an investigation
20.
roll if you're going to do it.
Oh my gosh.
I'm
I got a
smoking.
10.
That's pretty good, though.
Where you reckon, Marshall?
I got me a 3.
Where you reckon that clue's at?
I've been sitting here and surveying
The
this.
thing that strikes you most is that obviously no one but yourselves have rifled through this room. So whoever killed him didn't go through anything, didn't even check the man's pockets.
And the deed that I found, that was in a secret compartment?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
But none of the drawers gone through. Nobody tossed his room. Nobody robbed him. He's got, nice pocket watch, and his wallet's still full of money.
Sure.
There's enough in this room
Why are
that
you
hasn't
rifling
been
through that
touched.
man's belongings?
Well, there's enough value and stuff here that hadn't been touched that any one of us could have retired on, even you, youngster. And yet nobody took it at all. So, it seems to me that this was not necessarily...
You're right, 5-way split.
I'm thinking Ford, the Pinkerton's already getting paid.
Little did you know, I've already stolen everything.
So I'm thinking that whoever had it in for this fella wasn't doing it necessarily for his money, even though he was loaded. I think they might just have hated this son of a, son of Texas.
So a crime of passion. then.
That's exactly right. I was going to say a crime of passion. That's what it's...
Crime of passion, and they say that the knife came in from below.
That's right from below.
A crime of fashion?
No,
passion.
Passion.
Okay.
They're not talking about the Ranger.
Although that handkerchief does not seem to go with the rest of that man's outfit, so both.
There is a crime of fashion going on here.
And here we are without the fashion.
That there is called a callback. We do those in Texas all the time.
Good old Texas callback.
Now-
Doing it right.
That is not the knife of a lady, in my opinion. However,
No. I've
1903,
almost
I
been
think
stabbed
ladies
by
can
a
have
lot
any
of ladies
knives,
with
you
that
know?
knife.
yeah, but an Arkansas toothpick is basically just a rip-off of the great Jim Bowie's design with just a slightly modified blade. It's a big-ass knife.
They say so.
About a 13-inch blade on that sucker.
13-inch blade. Okay. All right. Oh, just a blade, not including
Yeah,
the
they're
handle.
pretty substantial.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Now that's a knife, is what someone would say.
Some people
For
might say that.
example, a hobbit would call it a sword if I knew what the hell that was.
Somewhere on QVC. We've got his here galactic Star Defender Arkansas toothpick. Beautiful, beautiful, make wonderful stocking stuffers.
But we got this nice ivory handle.
Yeah.
Well, if it's a crime of passion, it's either an assassination or a jilted lover or something, right? That does so. Is his wife here?
No, she is not.
So maybe this Ambrose fella with the fancy hanky. Maybe they was having, you know, illicit skin-to-skin contact in the privacy of their own cabin.
Well, at this point, I think it's probably pretty healthy just to, you know,
Maybe
throw
then you
out all
realize
kinds of
that
different theories. Sure.
He is a lawyer, sir.
I'm not exactly sure what you're insinuating about lawyers.
Well, for one,
Uh-huh.
that they are not Texans.
They're not.
Are you telling me? Are you telling me?
There's not a single lawyer in Texas.
Or that once
Not
they,
anymore.
I mean,
or that once they
history
become
shows.
them,
You shot
then they no longer
Now,
qualify.
we do
as
have
Texans.
something called an attorney, which is a bit like a lawyer, but they swears up and down they ain't lawyers.
I can see why.
Well, it's a good plan.
There are
It's
only
a
public
good
defenders.
plan.
I'd like to check out the knife as well. Just
Yeah.
you know, just take a little bit look because I'm. my
Excellent. Give me an
investigation's a little bit-
investigation check.
My investigate is kind of highish. Let's see. It's investigate is D8.
Yep.
Cool. All right. I'm looking at the handle. Maybe there's some sort of personalization on there somewhere. That is not good. 7.
7 is good.
Oh, wait,
Well,
that's a 1.
7 is good. That's,
No,
that's,
that's
is
not
it one?
seven.
That's 7. 7 is good. Like, you know, and you actually have something I believe called investigator over there. So you get a +2 to all your investigator rolls.
Well, bless my stars.
It's actually something you are very, very well trained at, to the point where you notice that the print on there as though it looks like coal or charcoal. Somebody had coal or soot on their hands when they held that knife.
So I can see that on the blade, or I can see it on the
handle. Whoever held the handle definitely had like soot, some coal, something.
Do I have my own kind of a special set of
Very much do that. He always
fingerprints?
rolls his eyes out when you pull it out.
All right.
True investigators don't need to be trained.
Ooh, I can't. Oh, I love this
Oh,
shit.
good.
All
You
right.
brought your purse.
Yeah. No.
Oh my god.
No, see, this is a fingerprint kit.
Oh, I heard of them.
Finger.
You
No,
see-
that's this newfangled way they're doing. They're saying that no 2 fingerprints is alike.
It's a
Now,
bunch of malarkey, if you tell me.
it's got to be because there are so many people. Of course, there's 2s alike. What if these twins?
You know where I can
Ever thought of that?
Actually, I have, and actually,
What
I
are
read
these
several books about it.
triplets or fourlets or whatever they's called?
It gets kind of like complicated, but basically, fingerprints are mostly unique. But you're right, there is some kind of strange things with
Oh,
twins.
yeah, that's like
You must be a
Yankees
reader
are
of
mostly
Doyle.
American, but they ain't exactly the same now, are they?
So this is pretty much going to happen like the whole day, right? Just like this constant pullback of investigating this murder.
Yes.
Is that what's going to happen? All right.
Well, you know,
I
not
was
if you don't
wondering
keep
you-
holding up my investigation, young
Oh,
man.
please, by all means, go on and talk to Ambrose Mason about how short he is and your little theory about his lavender-scented handkerchief that's also...
Oh, that means he doesn't have any allergies, which tells
I
me
thought that
one
was
thing.
sweet water scented.
You are absolutely right. Mine's lavender-scented. I don't know what I was thinking.
Sweetwater and sea.
Are you the killer?
No!
Hold on, is your name Ambrose?
It is, in fact, not.
And is that your knife?
Also, no.
He seems all right.
All right.
Impeccably reasoned. I mean, I just don't see a single hole in that.
Yeah, well, I want to see how this fingerprint machine goes down.
Oh, it's loads of fun. You can sit and finger bit for hours at a time.
You know, actually, I do like the
It's essentially just some tape and some dust.
I like the idea that it is a machine. I was going to say it's tape and dust, but no, it's not anymore.
He's got a little monkey that comes out and turns the grinder for him.
Yeah.
Well,
The most fun is watching them put it all back together.
according to the
Overcomplicated,
ticker tape that's
just
come off of
bunch
his
of
fingerprint machine.
You now have a copy of the print.
Ooh.
Ah,
Oh, this will come.
Printy.
Yeah. This will come in handy later.
So are
Trust
you
me.
just gonna walk over and
Like when
fingerprint
later, though?
everybody on this boat?
Maybe I will. Maybe I will.
It seems like a waste of time to me.
But
Say that to the fingerprint taker machine, all right? Just hold out your fingers.
It just like
Now you just hold on a damn minute here. You can talk to it? All right.
Yeah, go ahead and wish for anything.
Who is the killer? Who killed Rutherford?
No, it doesn't answer questions, it grants wishes. What?
I don't know if I appreciate your tone.
No, on the East Coast, that's actually mighty respectful. This is definitely respectful tone the whole way through.
Yeah.
Every time.
Well, you know, when you put it like that, old timer, I'm inclined to agree.
All right, then.
And we are all law enforcement officers here.
Marshal.
We are all. Texas Ranger, sir.
Oh, sorry, I thought we were all marshals. My apologies.
I'm a sheriff.
Very well then.
And that's a Pinkerton. You can tell by the fancy suit. They all wear the polka dots.
He said nice polka dots.
screw you too, sir.
Do we need to look at anything else here, or shall we go talk to this Ambrose?
Well, sure, let's move on.
Wait, are you telling me that Ambrose is on the boat?
God
Well,
damn
God
it,
damn!
yes!
That's true.
Now there is a certain level of thick-headed I can get behind, but wow, sir, my God!
I know, they are a bit much, aren't they? Let's go talk to this Ambrose.
Thankfully, we got some Texas justice in the house to keep it all straight and narrow.
Little TGIH.
Should someone stay behind and watch the body?
In case what? It gets up and walks away, idiot?
In case
Ambrose!
someone comes back.
You know, that's not a bad idea. I think someone should be holding fire watch. You know, not, so to speak, not literal. So why don't we ask one of these people who are the crew to just watch the door for us?
Ambrose, you son of a bitch, get
There
out
has
here!
been one of the security posted outside the door and still is.
Okay.
Listening
They were
to
making
all of this.
Making sure that nobody went in until the investigation team arrived.
And please, keep doing what you're doing.
And you must have so much confidence in us.
We're doing our crackerjack
workers,
fucking team of scienticians here.
There was soot on the blade.
The handle.
A handle. That's what I meant by the blade.
There was
Could
what
it
by
have
the
been a worker? You know, because put
people-
coal in the engines, it's soot covered in the.
Well, have you
It's a
gone down?
thought. I don't know.
No,
Did
it's
you
not
go
bad.
down to the engine room and check?
No, I'm just saying, if it's not Ambrose, maybe we should look at these workers.
If it was a single fingerprint, right?
One of the fingerprints.
One of the fingerprints had soot on it, or some sort of black, mysterious stuff that I'm not aware
Soot-like
of.
substance
Shoe
that
polish.
was as of yet undiscovered.
Cigar ash.
Yeah.
Because the
dirt.
handkerchief did smell like cigar smoke. But I imagine that, like, this entire place smells like some kind of smoke.
Yes, it does.
Everybody, like, as
And
you say
rock
that,
gut.
I am.
Can I can I give it a smell? See if I can smell something of it. Maybe.
Specifically on the
Well,
knife.
you
Or
are
actually
city,
on
you're
the
royal.
knife actually probably would work out a little bit better. Yeah. Instead of I was thinking my little
Give
fingerprint.
me
I
a
got.
notice check on the knife to see
All
if you
right,
can. Do you got
notice.
any distinct
Graves,
smells?
this freaky deaky little dude you're running around with doing all this police work with his nose is starting to really freak me out.
That
a
one
bit.
exploded.
No,
That one exploded.
I know, man. It's been
All right, so a
rather
7
than
is your best result there, which is almost a raise. Still good enough. It smells fairly strongly of coal.
Of coal. Okay. All right. Smells strong.
He's down there sniffing on the dead guy. How am I supposed to react to this, Graves?
just ignore it.
With silence, maybe.
Silence and bourbon is my solution, friend.
All right. I thought maybe like it could be a different kind of substance, perhaps.
Oh,
All right.
absolutely.
All right. So it smells strongly of coal.
Yeah, it smells strongly of coal.
All right. Well, I think we got all of what
It
we
is
want
a
from
rather
here.
cheaply made Arkansas toothpick. It is not nice quality.
That doesn't fit with, like, the rest of this body.
That's what I'm
At all.
saying. Maybe
No.
it's a worker, but again, we gotta question this AM fellow, this Ambrose Mason.
Yeah, we should also.
I called for him. He didn't show up.
All the passengers are down in the lounge area. They're being.
Well, I'm going to head down to the damn lounge.
They were all told to stay there.
All right. You want to go down there and shake him down a little bit?
Absolutely.
We're
We
playing.
don't want to ruffle anybody. we should be tactful about this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree. These are people of importance and genteel nature,
And the rest
probably
of my crew does
a
rely
somewhat
on my
sensitive
relationship
disposition,
with them.
given that they're sleeping on bags of gold every night. They must be awful tired from walking on the backs of the working man.
Man, I can't imagine what that would do to my hip.
Hey, as long as the wealth trickles down.
Trickles down from where?
You know, that sounds awfully a lot like you're
You
peeing
ever met
on
a rich
people.
person who is tall? What the hell is it trickling down from? They keep their wallets in their jacket pockets, and ain't one of them over 5'6".
I was not aware of that particular condition. Thank you yet again for your continuing education. It has truly, truly been an honor.
Well, you know where the rich people come from.
Oh no, where's that?
Banks.
Oh.
Where do you think they're getting all that money?
Low ceilings. Yep. That's scans.
No, most banks where I come from have higher ceilings.
Oh, that just blows that whole theory out of the water, doesn't it?
Jeez.
Well, Christ, back to the fucking drawing board.
Here we go again.
All right.
All right. What was the knife thing called again? It was a
Arkansas
toothpick.
The Arkansas toothpick.
So toothpick. Cool.
I'm not gonna even try with you.
In fact.
I'm
Just
surprised
for
you
the
didn't give
record.
up earlier.
I'm trying to learn where I can.
Well, next stop for learning, back to the bar.
Woo! Now, why would a worker stab?
About that.
Yeah.
Could it be literally anything
Bingo.
you just said about
It is
the rich
quite
man
literally
walking on
take
the
a
backs of the
traditional
laborers?
Bowie knife
Then
and
why
make
not
it come to a
take his
point so
money?
it's got a blade on both sides.
Yeah.
It's just a
I like it.
double edge.
I mean, if it's purely a class problem, why would the poor guy not rip off the rich guy after he's dead? You might as well. We almost did it.
You mean
You
didn't?
almost did it.
No, we almost did it.
Uh-huh.
Culpability in that particular situation, we would have all
Like-
faced equal blame under a court of law, and I would have hanged every one of us.
Pulls out like small law book, just like. Oh shit!
Pulls out the pocket constitution.
Well, that's handy.
Yeah, it's.
It's
Texas
in my
justice
pocket.
means we have to avoid the courts first and go straight
I
for the
use it
trees.
whenever, man.
Well, head
It
on.
was the book and a big bottle of laudanum were left to him by the previous sheriff. Told him he'd need both of them.
I'm trying to stay away from this stuff, man.
Oh, man, so not only is he a rookie, he is
Problem, anyway.
hopelessly
We'll
addicted.
see. I'm being tested here today.
So,
Every day's
No
a
wonder
test
he's
on
so
this job.
shaky.
real quick before we leave, basically nothing has been moved around or
Other than what
jostled
you
around.
guys did.
Although
Yeah,
we did.
And we
Very clear. No one like
did.
it really looks like someone stabbed him from probably about the door, maybe a step in, and
Is there any blood on the ground?
a couple of drops, but not much.
Okay.
Most of it, like, they pulled up down by his nether regions from bleeding out, laying on the ground.
And he's laying on his back.
Yep.
With an Arkansas toothpick in his gullet, or
Yep,
in his belly,
sticking out.
rather.
Yeah.
Not his gullet, but his
Like-
belly. And he's holding on to a handkerchief.
Yep.
That smells of Sweetwater and cigars.
Yes.
By
With the initials of
Chesterfield and
A.
Blotz with initials
Yes.
AN. Great.
Correct.
In a particular French blue.
Cornflower blue.
It just doesn't go with gunmetal gray. Everybody knows. Everybody knows that.
This is so.
I don't think you're
It is
accessorized
now.
properly, Marshal.
Well, it is not exactly my forte, if you will.
Marshall is pronounced Fort.
He's right.
The damnable thing is, he is.
Alright, well, down we go.
Let's talk to some breathers. What do you say?
I want to find this Ambrose smidget.
Well, you pull aside the captain, and he points down from the upper floor, among the lounge people, the individual who is Ambrose Mason. He's sitting at a table with two other people. You notice right away he's a spectacled, very, very slight, small man.
Oh, yeah.
Very slight.
What did I tell you?
Like maybe 110 pounds, about 5'3"
Ooh.
tops. Very, very tiny individual. Very nervous and twitchy, and he's sitting with two other individuals arguing. Both of them are pretty well dressed. One of them is a heavier set man. He's more of the European fashion and style of his suit.
Mm-hmm.
And the other fellow who's sitting with him
Clothes.
You're right.
looks very out of place. Looks kind of like an up-jumped street hood in nice clothes. and he's quite obviously, Irish and shouldn't be.
This is the third fellow?
Yeah, shouldn't be hanging out in a vessel with these well-established and dignified individuals. I mean, he's just an Irishman.
Talk to me about just an Irishman.
Howdy, fellas. How y'all
They
doing?
immediately
today?
stopped their conversation.
Might I look at all of your hands real quick?
I think what we should do is, Mr. Mason, can we take you to the side? We'd like to ask you some
I'm
questions.
quite comfortable right here, thank you.
Yeah, let me
Oh,
see
good.
all your hands.
He wants to fight then. Hold on. I'm gonna bind you by law just for questioning then, instead of just having to walk back like we would have done. Where do you want to get pistol whipped? Left or right side?
Whoa. We
Excuse me,
don't
sir?
really know much anymore.
4.
Like,
What's
listen,
going
listen,
on?
listen
Now,
here,
this-
this
this-
man's
this-
name is-
this-
I just
what's
want
He's
to
going
from
see
on?
your
Texas,
hands.
sir. He's from Texas.
Oh God, I tried to.
And you hit him right upside the head, and down he goes out of the chair. Spectacles fall off, and he is laying in a heap on the ground.
Now, next time I ask you to do something, you should just comply.
Sir, why you do this? My friend, you hurt him. The heavier set man speaks up.
Who said
No.
that?
That's
You know,
all
oftentimes people are conscious when they speak, and maybe we should try that out for size, and just like so we can have some conversing words.
You don't believe that it's impolite to answer a question with a question?
I do indeed. However, I figure as though we can ask more questions and be a little bit
The
more.
son of a bitch did it twice.
Sure. Well, I guess you just go ahead and get as much answers as you can while he's sleeping, and maybe we'll just talk to these other fellas.
I thought I was going to wake him up first.
The third gentleman, the Irishman, has been laughing hysterically since Ambrose got hit in the head and knocked out, and still hasn't stopped.
I want to take a look at Ambrose's hands real quick.
Very, very small hands, very meticulously cleaned.
All right,
Like
wasn't this
everything clean, nails filed down absolutely perfectly. And everything about him, other than the change and disheveled which happened from getting knocked out of the chair, is like everything is kept perfectly in its absolute place.
Yeah, is
However,
there any place
I
for a
look
giant
for-
hidden knife?
In his
It would be really, really obvious on his tiny, tiny body for a
make
knife
sure
that
it's in his-
size.
I want to make sure. I want to see if in his pocket, on his breast pocket, to see if there's already a handkerchief there, to see if this one was planted.
There, in fact, is an AM handkerchief in his pocket, but it's a complete, perfect match. It even has the same smell of
Yeah,
sweet
just
water
the-
and cigars. Exact. The handkerchiefs are perfect.
All right, I don't want to do.
Oh,
Somebody has the handkerchief. Yeah,
you,
I want to say
you
don't
triple
pull that
fold
off
it. All right. Ooh, this one's gonna have a little fanfare.
Well,
on
when
it.
he wakes up,
he's
we're
gonna
going
like
to
that when he
question
wakes
him,
up.
so we'll just tie him up in the room with the dead guy.
So while
It's got chairs.
while this is happening, I'd like to kind of scan this table full of people.
Yes, the other
like,
two.
What do they have in front of them? Like what is on the table? Are they drinks or they have papers?
Yes, there
Like, what's going on?
looks like, well, the European man does not appear to be drinking. He has milk in front of him. And a huge plate of, like, just about every kind of food that they could probably plump out of the kitchen here. The fellow definitely likes to eat.
Sure. This is
little guy?
they got the European
The
dressed
heavy European
fellow.
dressed fellow definitely likes to eat. The Irish fellow has a very large glass of whiskey and a cigar and an ashtray.
Congratulations, Mr. Stereotype.
I assure
His
these gentlemen-
hands are heavily, like, calloused and worn. He doesn't have rich man's hands.
Is there any residue on those hands?
None of the black suit or anything like it.
I assure these gentlemen that he has nothing to do with the Pinkerton agents. We are still a very reputable society.
Well, I'm in the other room tying the guy to a chair.
Hang on a second. I'm gonna see if that goes through the room without someone laughing
Yes.
hysterically.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
laughing hysterically.
Oh, just among the numerous passengers? Yes, in fact, a couple of the passengers cackle from beyond to hear that statement.
Oh, sorry.
Top jacket, like.
I make a note of who
Great
was
job
laughing
breaking
at
the
that. I
tension.
want to talk to them.
You did a great job breaking the tension.
You're welcome.
So, I just got back from tying that fella up.
Oh, what'd he say?
Oh, nothing. He's unconscious.
Oh, that's
still.
right, because you
course.
knocked him out.
Well, I can't help it if he had a glass jaw. I only hit him the one time, didn't I?
With the butt of a revolver.
Well, you want me to hit him with the business end of it? It could have gone off and killed the man, you sick son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's right. You are to blame in this scenario. Go on.
I don't think he's the one who did
Righteous
it.
Texas justice.
You don't think he's the one who did
No,
it?
don't think it was him.
Now, as you men can see, yeah, you should just answer and go along. Like, he's got his own thing.
Folks, we know y'all have been inconvenienced greatly for some time over this. We're just here to try and settle this all up and smooth it all out so you can get on back to your business. By the way,
I ain't leaving here till I shoot somebody, though.
barkeep, one more. Thank you. Got to keep it lubricated. It give him the
You're not sure if it's his fourth or fifth.
This is your gangy leg?
Yeah, it's the hips. The hip gives out on me.
They were never able to take the bullet out.
Ooh.
I thought it was just gout.
They were never able to take the bullet out. It's
No, I
still
had
there.
that. Got better, though. Got better. Now,
Thank the Lord.
we're just going to be asking you a few questions, so anything you can do to help speed this all along is just going to be a help to you and us all.
Also, keep in mind the consequences for answering questions with questions.
Yes, as has been established, Texas justice is in full effect for the remainder of this investigation.
That's the best words I've ever heard.
I'm gonna get
thought it
those
was go
monograms
ahead,
on a
shoot
pillow,
him.
put it in my.
Those are going on my damn tombstone.
Texas justice is now in full effect in heaven.
So just over the course of that, I want to see if there's anybody who reacted particularly strongly one way or the other amongst the passengers there.
To Ambrose being pistol whipped, or to any of the
To the pistol
Yeah,
whip?
both to the pistol whip and also to like the announcement of, yeah, no, he's off
Give
the
me a
chain.
notice check.
That's
a 6. That is also a 6.
Wow.
So that's going to be 13 total there
Yep.
for notice, which is 3 raises. Which, you don't notice anyone reacting, but as you're trying to go over and look at everyone, the numbers don't add up. You know there's the one guy tied up, Ambrose, and the one security guard posted there, but between the rest of them, there should be 48 people, minus those 46 down here.
Yep.
And there are only 44 people in this lounge.
I
And
thought,
that's counting crew, right?
Yes,
Crew?
counting everyone on board.
Okay.
I thought that was there was 38
38
passengers.
passengers,
What do you
7
want to
crew.
think there's a dead guy hiding in some
3
coal?
Security.
But everyone was supposed to be in the lounge since it's made port in St. Louis. It's not moving, so there's no reason for any of the crew to be at any stations.
Hey, let's go to the engine room, see if we find anything.
I think that's a great idea.
You do?
Oh, we're just done
yeah.
questioning.
I think you should definitely go over there. And
But the
start
numbers
talking to
add
people.
up to a total of 48,
Yeah.
and one guy tied
Okay.
up and one security guard guarding the door
Yeah.
makes 46, but there's only 44 people in this room.
And
So
nobody wants to come with me to the engine room?
We're 2 people short.
No.
Now, I mean, I will come along to the engine room as long as y'all are going to keep on questioning them.
Yeah, I was planning
Yeah.
on doing some.
I mean, is there
I will
any other
definitely
place
keep
on this
up
boat
here.
you can get coal on you?
That would seem the most logical place.
Engine room is surrounding area. Boiler?
well, actually, how do people stay warm in their own home?
Little braziers, they keep hot coals going, but usually those are brought to them by service individuals on a boat like this. You
Oh,
don't
God.
have to worry about it yourself.
So
Perish the thought I touch my own coal.
Or pretty much anything.
So, the answer to the question is where else would you find coal? Is in pretty much every single stateroom,
Housekeeping staff.
and yeah, with the help. and-
Housekeeping staff would be great if they wanted to pin it on this little fella here. Steal one of his monogrammed handkerchiefs.
Oh, I was trying to keep that hidden, but okay. It'd be like a cool, but we have.
Wait a minute.
No, I mean, this is us talking amongst ourselves. The only guy that can hear us is the, tied up guy who's unconscious.
And the
And the
2
three
people
other,
sitting
two,
at the
three other
table
people.
we're
Oh, if they're
sitting
sitting here,
at?
I won't say any of that. Never mind. Pretend you heard nothing and now you know less.
So,
Did it work?
did it work? Are you done?
Looks like it worked.
Well, it worked on the Irishman. I can say that much.
He looks like he doesn't at all know what I'm talking about, so I'm
Yeah, but
pretty
no.
sure it worked.
I'm thinking housekeeping staff. They got the access, right?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, if you want to go for that, sure. I want to ask more people questions personally.
Yeah, that's a good
I
idea.
want
As well.
to
Feel free.
stay asking more people questions to make sure he doesn't ruffle any feathers.
But you've had plenty of time to ask questions, so just get them out there before anybody wanders off. Go ask away.
Yeah.
Don't make sense
We
for a
asked-
rich
Okay.
man
What
to
do
be
you
stabbing
know?
a man in the gut with a cheap knife.
So how about who knew? Let's see, what's the guy's name is? Rutherford Turndale. Did anyone know Rutherford Turndale, Mr. Turndale?
In fact, they're a little more inclined to talk since the individual Ambrose got pistol whipped. But both Otto Glaus and Mitch Collins, the two individuals at the table, admit that all three of them were involved in a deal. They were attempting. Mitch and Otto were attempting to purchase the Farmsworth mining claim from Mr. Rutherford, and Ambrose Mason was their lawyer working on their behalf to finalize the deal. That's why they were on this boat to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And where did y'all talk about that? Was that out here in the common room, or was that in specific staterooms?
Throughout the majority of the cruise, here, the majority of the time was in the lounge. Sometimes on the in the poker room upstairs.
Ooh, there's a poker room.
Never went to his room, nor chambers. Nobody's chambers.
That would
always
be rather
public.
untoward for two gentlemen to share the same quarters.
Hey,
So that's what I was
1903. I'm
saying.
not here to judge.
Concierge could arrange something like that if that's what you're into, though.
I don't have a room here.
So the waitstaff crew, did any of them have like a run-in with the victim?
Who are you asking?
Let's start with the like chambermaid kind of person.
Looking at that, you draw a little conclusion from his only noticing 44 people down here is that there should be 7 crew and there's only 5.
Oh, so the two that are missing are crew.
Is one of them the security person that's watching over the body?
No, not
No.
counting him. Assuming he's already taken out of the count and we're aware of him. There are 2 missing crew members.
Well, which departments have people missing?
There is one of the maids, one of the service maids is missing, as is one of the shovelers.
Yeah.
Cool.
The two conscious people, his name's Mitch and what?
We have Mitch Collins
And Otto?
and Otto Glaus.
Otto Glaus.
Can we get names for the two
Uh-huh.
crew that are missing from the...
They don't really take a lot of time with getting to know the crew, but the girl's name was Sylvia, and the missing, she's 14 for the record, and Tucker is the shovel boy. He is 15.
Tucker the Shovel Boy.
He is 15, works in the...
That's my favorite comic book.
I just can't
But what were
wait
you
for the
asking
next
the other
whack
crew members?
installment
Yeah,
of
I was
Tucker
asking-
What were you
Shovel
asking
Boy.
specifically? I want to hear
My
this
favorite
again.
Yowie mega series.
You were asking the service crew something.
If any of them had a specific, like, run-in with the victim. Like
You give me a
anything like that.
persuasion or intimidation check, however you're going to go about it as a Pinkerton.
Did they kill the witness?
No.
Let's see
No,
here.
we pistol whipped the witness. We're fine.
Okay, well, I don't have...
Everyone has persuasion.
yeah, I'm saying, like, I don't have intimidation.
Okay. Usually you just do the shooting part for that. Yeah.
Okay, so
What is Otto short for?
Otto.
In his case, it's Otto. It's O-T-T-O.
Okay.
Okay, so that's 5.
Automobile.
5 is still a success
My
by
name is
1.
Automaton.
You are able to persuade a couple of the service staff to talk. Let's see. We have the victim, Rutherford Turndale, was spotted with the missing serving girl at one point. However, Ambrose was seen with that same girl sometime later, arguing in one of the halls.
All right.
Both of them
There we
were
go.
seen with the girl.
So Ambrose is arranging for the rich guy who's taken a liking to the serving girl, right, to have them for a secret meeting of some kind that probably takes place in the room. That's what Ambrose was doing, or at least trying to do. Then the boy, Tucker, who's only 15 and the girl's only 14, right? They're probably working on the same boat. They're probably already sweet on each other. He said, I love you. She said, I love you. He said, we're going to get off and get married someday, right? He sees Sylvia fooling around with this rich guy, pulls out his trusty
Shovel.
Arkansas toothpick,
Oh, that'll work too.
and he's probably a little fella himself if he's only 15 years old, gives the old upstuck right underneath the rib cage, sticks the old man, leaves the knife in there like a dumbass. A 15-year-old kid would totally do that too. Anyway, protecting the honor of his girl.
That's not a bad theory.
And if they're gone, they're probably hiding somewhere on the ship, or they RUNNOFT, the side of the ship too. Maybe swimming upriver.
Now, I don't suppose that that's totally out right, as a theory.
It's a crazy theory.
No,
You're
no,
right.
it's not necessarily a crazy theory, but also
Complex characters.
we don't necessarily automatically assume
And motivations.
we don't automatically assume that those two kids are into each other romantically. They
They're
could
the
be
same
brother and
age.
sister.
They're on a boat.
They could be brother and sister.
If they're brother and sister, then why don't they have the same last name?
The shoveler and the cleaning girl
Uh-huh.
are not the same last name. That's correct.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. Well, that just puts a whole bunch of holes through my theory, doesn't it?
Looks
I mean, once again,
Really, just the one.
And now you know.
Drink it down.
And now you know why the last sheriff
No,
couldn't
not
do
yet,
it.
not yet. No, I don't need that
Is it
yet.
vodka or a laudanum?
Laudanum.
Oh, okay.
I was given a bottle of laudanum and the law book by the previous sheriff and told, you will need both of these.
You'll
And I
also
was like,
notice in the law book the majority of infractions have things written under like not worth it, maybe later.
This one's fun.
just let it go.
All right. Let's see.
Wow, it's stabbing. Not worth it, huh? Got
So,
my work cut out for me.
Mr. Mitch Collins and Otto Glass, if you would be so kind, if you would take out your hands and push them in my direction. If you'd kind of reach your sleeves back there and
Here we
close
go.
your eyes, and that my little contraption will.
Otto's hands are pretty messy from all the food he's been eating. He's very greasy fingered, very thick sausage-like fingers.
Thumbs
He
up.
probably eats a lot of said sausage.
Fair enough.
His fingertip prints do not match the prints that you have.
He
Mitch
says.
Collins' both hands and arms are heavily worn and calloused. This is not a man that's a stranger to work. I mean, it does seem like he's a stranger to wealthy boats and wealthy deals. Mm-hmm. And it's like a hood and a very expensive suit.
I would like
Really?
to use common knowledge to see if I can determine the specific type of rural work that he did to acquire
Absolutely.
the calluses, etc.
Give me a common knowledge check, which you are insanely good at.
5.
That is a success. You, in fact, have heard the name Mitch Collins associated with crime in New York.
Oh, Mitch Collins. Boy, this is just a treat. You know, this man is a bit of a local legend.
A local legend, you say?
Indeed, up in New York. You know, right about where you used to get your schooling done.
Yeah, you cosmopolitan sissy.
Well, let me just.
Pinkerton. Oh,
Can I?
you are the only one in a suit right now.
You could
But
attempt
it's a
common
good-
knowledge
Yeah,
to see
yeah,
if
so-
maybe you had heard of him
It's
in his
good.
time up there.
Common on D6. Well, now that you mention it. Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's 6
Oh.
explodes. That's an 8. That is a raise. You, in fact, not only know who Mitch Collins is, you know quite the story about the fellow. He really did come up hard on the streets. Earned his way in through rather disreputable means, but got himself into a position of owning mayors, judges. He's a very powerful and influential figure in organized crime.
Oh, come on, Marshall. His name might as well be Red Herring.
Oh, into the time period we are set in, unfortunately.
And with the raise, you
limits
also
me from
know
making
he's
the rest of that
came
joke.
from one end and has been working over the past decade towards getting involved in the other, trying to get completely out of the crime business and become a legitimate businessman.
What kind of crime is he into?
Just about everything you could get into.
Smuggling?
Oh yeah.
But trying to come up better.
Yes, he started his career as a
Jitters?
bad guy.
And what did you say his name was?
Mitch Collins.
Mitch Collins.
Does he say just about? Ever?
No, he's got the little thing
You're
Irishman.
all right, boy. That's a good boy.
You're alright.
What are the spot of whiskey type?
So, all right. So, Mitch, why all the way down here? Or over here? Where are we? St. Louis?
St. Louis.
Down
Making a
here,
fine
down
business
here.
deal. What did any man want to be doing on such a boat?
Well, and how does...
Never been much of a fan of boats.
I can relate.
Mr. Collins?
I can imagine
Hi.
you being an Irish.
Hey, if you were gonna hide two teenagers on a riverboat, where do you reckon they'd be hiding?
experience. I have no experience with the riverboats. I've got no idea.
So,
I thought you said he was a proper criminal. Don't even know where to hide somebody on a damn boat.
Sometimes proper criminals don't always say the God's honest truth every single word out of their mouth.
They don't?
Nope.
I thought you were an investigator.
Oh no, I'm a lawman?
Oh, right. Yeah, no, sorry.
The difference is
Ranger,
investigators
you're right.
investigators look into things and I shoot bad guys.
it is
Okay.
a subtle but important difference, yes. So, Mitch, what do you reckon that this whole business is going to do to what you had set up here?
I'm thinking I probably ain't gonna get my hands on the Farmsworth mining claim now. Who's gonna sign the damn deed now that he's dead?
Nobody. It's impossible. Plus he was hiding that thing in a secret compartment.
Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't.
Hypothetically.
No, you remember you were digging
Again,
through his
he
suitcase.
is not
Through all his
affiliated.
unmentionables, you found that little compartment in his suitcase.
You are actually the worst, aren't you?
According to my character sheet, yes I am.
Arrogant, big mouth, the worst.
Worst.
Okay. Yeah.
Arrogant, big mouth, overconfident.
Yeah. I love this.
But luck and great luck. So I caught the murderer because he shot me twice in the back. And I turned around and saw who it was.
Well, I mean, you can't argue with
Yeah.
that.
So I was gonna go to this engine room, and then I'm gonna go to the cargo hold. I'm gonna find me 2 teenagers. Oh, unless he's dragging them behind the boat because they tied him up and drowned him because they was witnesses. I'm just gonna look everywhere.
Yeah, go ahead.
That
Jump
would
in the river.
Talk to
We'll
the rich man.
continue.
Oh, this other fellow over here next to the Irishman, he's also a thug at some time. Watch him. He looks like he's up to no good. He clearly worked on a ranch, my young man. He's at least been to Texas.
All right.
Texas Ranch. Only kind of ranch there is.
Everything else is like a small animal farm. Real ranch takes up at least 12 square miles. Minimum.
That's just a Texas fact.
Never
Does
trust
putting the word
a
Texas in front of
Texas
any
fact.
noun make it more legitimate?
Well,
Yes.
you know, that's a matter of opinion, but it's a matter of good opinion.
Or is it a matter of Texas opinion?
Well, ain't they the same?
That's right. So, all right. Yeah. What else?
So you were headed back to the engine room. They're continuing to question.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk with all these
Proceed.
rich
Going
men
to
who
question.
never touched a
Definitely
knife in
staying
their
around
days.
all of the rich people.
All right. Let's see. I've taken that their fingerprints already, and like
Yeah, neither of
We
their
know
sets of
why
fingerprints
they're
match.
there.
Yep.
We know they have
Nobody
nothing to
coming
gain
with
from
me?
the murder.
I'll mosey along, just, keep it slow.
About 30 paces behind.
Yeah.
Got that bad hip.
Oh, I ain't in a hurry.
And let's see. Would it be out of the norm to like pat everyone down?
It would be a little odd, but not ridiculously so. I mean,
I don't know.
No, I like that
Not
idea.
Definitely
so
take
bad.
It's
everyone's
just an
fingerprint.
empty.
So first
it was
he's
just
going
a
through their
knife. There's
pockets,
no.
and then he's
somebody
sniffing
might have
them, and
the
now he's going
sheet.
through all their pockets.
I swear, I had to get away. That ain't law.
This is just not how things are done.
Well,
What if we just stopped and searched anyone we wanted to?
I'm gonna go ahead and do that at least to Mitch Collins. you know,
Excellent.
because I know him to be a criminal, so I'm gonna. Go
as
ahead.
you start, he kind of smiles about it and he goes through the motions. He's clearly not his first time being frisked or patted down.
All right, assume the position, Mitch. You know where this is headed.
No. Isn't it romantic?
You don't find anything of real interest on him. He's got, a billfold, pocket watch, all really nice designer, high-end stuff. He's really trying to make his appearance better than it really is.
Okay.
Adding a lot of accessories to a rather unpleasant thing.
I'll do the same to Otto.
Otto, not so much. I mean, he's dressed decently well, but it's more about efficiency. He has good, solid working brand materials and, really good functioning pocket watch, and everything
I'm not
is
in the
German.
least bit of German stereotype.
Everything is German made. Every single bit of it. Not a single bit of his stuff is not German made.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We're not portraying the real world. We're portraying a Western film.
This is correct.
Personally, I feel as though there are probably more questions, but I can't think of anything. So you want to move on?
Yeah. You already asked all the questions I had.
So, can I do a investigations check just to kind of see who else kind of in the room?
What are you looking for?
I'm
specifically.
Anyone who looks like they were made uncomfortable by a bunch of detectives who just walked in.
Oh, so everybody in the room.
Well,
Looking for something more than that? I'm gonna have you do a notice check on that one.
Oh. It'd help if I rolled the right things.
Would it?
Wouldn't it?
Oh, maybe not.
You can't really think of anything at all.
Okay,
Nothing
well,
really
that's
struck you
fine.
as out of the ordinary.
Relax ice cream? Okay, bye-bye.
Shaved ice, sorry.
So I'm assuming you're going to attempt to
Everyone's
catch
still
up with these guys down in the engine room.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Okay.
Sure.
You guys get down into the engine room. It is, cool down here. Not particularly cool because it's still got some residual heat, but the boiler has been off for some time.
Yeah.
The flame been out for some time. The shovel is sitting down here. You don't see anyone about, but it is dark.
Yeah, and kids always know the places to hide. Yeah, and if you could hide just about anywhere as long as there was cactus around, you didn't mind getting pricked.
Give me an investigation roll if you want to search for someone in
Yep.
that room.
Investigation.
I don't have that skill.
I do for you.
Hold up 1 second. They're there right now. We'll
got
get
it.
to you in 1 second.
5.
5.
I don't have that skill.
That's all right. Make it a smarts based.
No, that's probably not good.
No, in your case, not particularly.
That good old D4 -2.
Yep. All right, my highest score is a 0.
Not so hot at rooting out the hidden kid. You begin searching through the
Don't even
room
have the skill.
of the engine room, and you kind of make your way around from both sides
Literally the worst
to cover
cop ever.
the whole perimeter and looking behind things. And as you're getting around to one side of the room, a small individual and another small individual dart out the door that you came in and down that hallway where they get about
Now, hold on a
15
minute,
steps in, and you step around a corner and a child runs face first into your chest.
Well, hello. And what about might be your name?
Well, the boy is clearly Tucker, and the girl is...
We're not assuming
And the
anything.
girl, we have to assume that they're the only two people missing.
The boy takes a step back from you, pushes the girl behind him, and pulls a steak knife out.
Boy, you should put that down before I shoot you in the face. I mean, directly in the face. There will be a hole right here in your face.
Young-
Big hole.
Young
How
man.
ahead of
That is only a knife. I'm going to shoot his thumb
Tucker,
off.
Now, calm down. We're not gonna...
Now let me shoot him.
Put it down! Just a second. We're not gonna do anything. We just have some questions.
I'm going to shoot him in
Stay
3
away.
seconds.
Hey,
Stay away.
Come on.
2 seconds.
Stay away.
Child, I don't know how to
This
tell you
happened to the last guy.
This man,
Put
this
myself-
man is
yeah.
from Texas.
Oh,
He will.
God, before you do that, I do put myself in front of the child between
Okay.
them.
Oh, so now you're
So
the-
I just get hit in the shoulder.
Give me a
the gun.
fighting roll.
I'm not hitting you in the shoulder.
Give me a fighting roll if you are going to pistol whip the boy.
No, apparently I'm pistol whipping him, but you know.
Hang on,
It's
give me a
okay.
fighting roll if you're going to pistol whip the boy.
Oh,
man.
missed. I
Give
missed
me
the
an
boy.
agility roll to see if you step into the way.
All right.
It's a D6.
5.
You step right into the way, and even though this blow was going to miss, you put your body directly in the path of his pistol whip, and you get hit pretty solidly. The wind knocked out of you, and you take a knee.
That is some rookie spirit, man.
Now, can I have the knife, please?
He drops it on the deck.
Oh, that was the smartest thing you ever did in your life, son.
God, I was about to shoot you in the face.
He is not
He was
joking
gonna
about
shoot
that.
you in the face.
I'm so sorry I hit you, but it was either that or shoot him in the face. He's just a kid.
I am fine with the outcome.
Go ahead, tell us.
That fella put his hands on her.
Yeah, I figured that's probably what happened, just like I said.
I didn't say it was a bad theory.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was. I pretty much just made it up
Who
on
are
the
you
spot.
talking about, son?
Yeah.
That fella, that Ambrose fella, he put his hands on her.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so
And
we're talking about
did
Ambrose,
the Ambrose fella did?
Yeah, so I went to his room, I threw his handkerchief in his face, and I stabbed him.
Well, that there man was not Ambrose. There was a
What?
man by the name of Rutherford, very rich man. You have killed the wrong man. Technically, you have manslaughter. Well, I guess that would be premeditated murder, wouldn't it? That's a first degree.
Let's leave
offense
that
at
up to
point.
the attorneys.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
that's still punishable by hanging.
And sadly, that was a Texan.
So, young man, you went into
You two in love, though, right? I'm
Yeah.
telling you, they was probably.
Tell us your story.
Brother and
Tell
sister.
us
Don't
your
look
story.
like brother and sister.
We were on the boat and the fellow he thought that Sylvia was one of them other girls,
Horse, son, you can say it.
And-
You're a murderer now. You can pretty much say
Women of the
whatever
night.
you want and get away with it.
And he put his hands on her. She had to run away. You notice now that Sylvia has a black eye. And she wouldn't tell me nothing, so I found the handkerchief and then I went to the room.
Well, Ambrose is very much alive. Got a welt on the side of his face on account of me. Doing pretty much that to him, except much harder.
Yeah. So, young man, so you were looking for a fellow by the name of Ambrose, and you had his handkerchief, and you went to a room. So, what made you think that the person that you encountered was said Ambrose?
Well, it was room 13. Everyone give me a notice check.
Notice check.
Yeah.
Did
Hey, all right. Oh shit.
7.
4.
The room was 31.
Oh. He's got the reading disease.
Are you dyslexic?
Nope.
The hell you calling
What
me?
the hell is that?
Common knowledge.
whatever.
Do I know
I made
what a
it.
dyslexic is?
It is a possibility. 6 explodes.
There's not a word.
You
for it.
have in fact heard of the condition. Not sure if you've heard of the name.
Well, my young boy.
But you knew a fellow who read backwards once.
There was a man I knew in Kansas City for a time or two, who every time he looked at a set of numbers, he actually saw on the opposite way how they was actually written.
Is that a fact? That is very, very interesting. Was he also? Did he also hang for murder?
You know,
Because then you two would really have something in common.
they'd just be 2 peas in a pod. But no. So I think we better take a look at room 31 here as well. Make sure that is actually Ambrose's room.
13.
Mm-hmm.
So, you said that your friend.
Well, they's lovers.
What's her name? His name's
Sylvia.
Tucker. Sylvia. Now, Sylvia, you said she didn't tell you anything. Has she not been saying anything?
Yeah.
Is she still not talking?
Yeah.
I imagine she's very scared.
Sylvia, do you know who we are? We haven't actually introduced ourselves. We're all law enforcement individuals of different shapes and sizes.
And a Pinkerton.
And Pinkerton. Now, we're trying to find out what happened on
What?
this boat.
I heard of the marshal before.
You're gonna have to speak up, son.
Now,
She said she heard of the marshal before.
yeah, he's a very, very famous man, isn't he?
Is he? Grace.
He
yeah.
sure is. So anyway, when did you hear of Mr. Marshall here?
Years ago,
Oh, yeah?
they used to tell stories about him.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of a few of them myself. What's your favorite?
The shootout in Kansas City with the 3 rustlers.
Oh, that's the one that the White Earp was at, right?
Well, it usually gets mixed up with that one. We actually had numbers, considerable numbers over them. I'm not like them Earp folks. I don't go into a fight with 6 of them, 3 of me. No. That is not the way that you get to be my esteemed age dealing with a hip issue.
That's a bad mathing right there.
It's terrible mathing. The worst. Yeah, them Kansas City days, those were no joke. But
Yeah, now I hear even some Texans died up there.
that's true. Not by my hand, mind you.
Well, I mean, no. Imagine the only thing that could kill him is another Texan.
We had ourselves a
No.
super Texan actually.
So, you heard that story, and you heard this man before, so you know that we are who we say we are. And we're trying to get at the bottom of this. And we're
Yes,
trying
sir.
to make sure everyone's
We got
stays
badges
safe.
in the whole deal, so we weren't messing about with that hanging talk.
So your friend here, Tucker, is this your friend? Is this your brother? Who is this now?
He's gonna be my husband.
He's gonna be your husband.
I told you they love him.
Just trying to have people say things out loud. That's all right. Now,
And motivations.
what made him get the impression that someone was hurting you? Was that true? Or you said you weren't talking. So what gave him that impression?
He seen my eye.
You see
Did
your
that-
eye.
did that-
You get a shiner for a lot of different
Did that
reasons.
flowery little midget put his hands on you, though? It was the little one, right?
He tried to drag me into his room.
Oh.
I wouldn't go.
And
Let
you're
me just
sure
look
it
real
was
quick.
Ambrose.
That's illegal.
And then
Would you
I
look at that?
I describe Ambrose and
we'll
just
take
to
two
make
of
sure that
them.
we're talking about the right person.
It was
Okay.
him.
Okay. Well, we're right now we have that gentleman. You know what? I'm not even calling that fella. We have that fella tied up right now, and so we're gonna have our own list of questions for that guy. But
And he might have a black eye to match.
Now, hold on. Sylvia.
Several.
Now, I understand he hit you. Did he hurt you any more than that?
I didn't let him. I got away. He's little. He wasn't real strong.
No.
Oh, good.
No, he isn't real strong.
Only took one
You
hit.
know
It was
that is
really
fact.
easy. But, well, sorry, kid, but
Hold on now.
all right.
Is there like an
Where are
empty
you from,
room
boy?
we can take these kids?
Coda, territory.
Okay. Let's see.
Marshall.
Is there a room we
Mhm.
can like take these kids just so they can be
Oh, I'm sure there is.
like a place where we know where they are and also separate from everybody else?
I'm sure that we probably
Well,
can.
yeah, we can. Nobody's in their rooms right now, so
True.
any.
Yep, any and all rooms, and you've got the master keys right now.
Right.
Oh.
Or
we
if we
have
don't,
masterpiece.
Sylvia does.
Well, let's go ahead and two birds, one stone. See about putting them in 31. We can take a look, see if there's anything else in there about Ambrose.
I thought 13.
think the
was
only
yeah,
thing we would've
31
done-
is the one that has the dead body.
Oh,
Yeah,
forgive me.
I
Forgive
think
me.
what
I
we
had
learned
that.
about
13,
Ambrose is everything we're gonna
13.
learn. He ain't no murderer. He's just a scumbag.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know how
And
the
a rich
hanky
scumbag.
came into the possession of the dead guy.
Yes, we do. Young man here threw it in his face right before he stabbed him in the guts with this
That's
13-inch
correct.
knife.
Yep.
Didn't
Now,
catch that hard of hearing.
Is that your Arkansas needle thing?
Well,
Or toothpick?
Only
hold
thing
on.
my pa gave me.
No. Now, before you decide to say anything, understand that you do technically have the right to remain silent. Because anything you do say can and will be used against you in a court. You understand? That's our
That's
job.
very
Yeah.
useful information.
So,
Great job
I ask
reading
you
the
again,
rights after he's told us
Yeah.
to
I
kill the
guess,
guy.
young man, have you ever seen that knife before? Does it belong to you?
Did we like?
We've
Hold on.
Mirandized
Look over
somebody.
here.
We are.
Look over here. Look over here. Look over here. So that's not your knife?
No,
we
no.
carrying the knife with us?
That's not my knife.
Excellent. Now we know you're a suspect in a murder, so we're going to have to bind you by law.
What just happened?
Well, the young man said the knife doesn't belong to him, so we have to arrest him on suspicion, but we don't have any evidence to say that it's his.
Other than him saying it was his before.
No. He said that he had a fight with another man, certainly Ambrose, who clearly has been in a bit of a brawl.
Mm. All right then.
I don't like where this is going.
Hot? No.
I do.
You got any kids?
Oh,
Well, you're a young man. You're a young man. Probably don't have any children yet.
Oh,
No,
we
not
got
yet.
Well, I do. I do. I have a 16-year-old.
Hell, you got grandkids.
Yeah.
She's gonna get married next year.
No, I have to say I am Mr. Texas Ranger Dale. I am fully on board with this angle of investigation.
Now, Sylvia, you understand that you are most likely marrying a dumb fuck, right?
I know.
I mean, you didn't even bother
Really
to check the
trust
guy's
him.
ID or get a description of him before he went.
Didn't even check the handkerchiefs. Got different handkerchiefs. Cornflower blue.
He just
Metal gray.
He literally
Metal gray.
he literally read the information backwards. That ain't right.
Have you already gotten into a lot of them?
I've seen him dip his thumb in a
I
couple
am
times.
very. I've had about 3 bourbons.
I know it's been a day.
Okay,
I just want to be a good long.
I have an inkling. I haven't heard all of it, but an inkling of where this is going, and I do not like it at all.
All right. Looks like we got one who's a for this notion and one who's against it. So that's great. Let's just go ahead and write that down and save that in our pocket for later.
And I will make it known later that I am
don't
not
think you
for
want to make
this
anything
plan.
Let's
What plan
get
might that be,
them in a
Agent?
The
room.
plan where we
Talk-
let a
talk to
murderer go
Ambrose.
free.
Oh, you prefer the plan where we drag the rich people's name through the mud and make you lose your job?
Yeah, never
But
work
I have
again.
a feeling that not catching the murderer is a worse course of action.
Well, we
Well,
already caught the
we-
murderer. He was caught red-handed with a handkerchief.
Yeah, we found the handkerchief on the body.
It's open and shut.
Open and shut case.
Liking it a little better.
Listen, Ambrose, he ain't one of the rich people. He's just a lawyer. A lawyer that likes to touch little girls.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I check my book to make sure like
I
Ambrose
pull
is
out
not
my book. I was
mentioned
like,
in our like
let's see
payroll.
my note.
not one of your clients.
Deal with it later.
Okay.
yeah, I'm
Yep.
Okay, my morality is coming back just a little bit. As much as it can for a Pinkerton.
Besides Pinkerton, now we can absolutely sell all this guy's stuff and split it.
And I do have gelding shears. What? I'm from Texas.
You know,
Oh my.
what do you get for the man who has everything?
The evidence before you, what are your conclusions and what are you going to present when you leave this ship?
Are we supposed to do that right now?
Can we talk to Ambrose?
As a group.
Just about getting,
Is
about
he
getting there.
like
Let's talk about
As
it.
a group, figure it out. What you
Conscious
want to do.
Do we want to go into the room 13 at all? Like to take a
Yeah,
look at it?
let's
I
go
think
take a
just
look at
going into room 13 would be
Why
good.
not?
Ambrose's room
I
is
don't-
it's well appointed like the other rooms. He doesn't have the fanciest clothing that some of the other people have because he's just a lawyer, as he said. You know, wealthy, but not exceedingly wealthy. There's nothing really untoward in his room. It's all rather run of the mill.
Oh, you got that that deed with you?
Yeah, sure do.
You should just leave it over there.
Well, that's good. That's a good place to put it. So,
On the desk, plain
No,
view.
in his case.
In his case,
so, all right. I'll take a look at his stuff. A little bit closer look at his stuff.
nothing really pops out to you, but you know,
Nothing that's like
Anything that screams, I'm a terrible
chlorophyll
person.
or
you know, nothing
Chloroform,
of that
sorry.
state. But he does own restraints, which is kind of odd.
I
Nobody
put my
travels
bottle of
with that
laudanum
much
also in
lotion.
his bag just because I gotta get rid of it, and also that looks bad on
You
him.
mean you haven't drunk that yet?
No, I'm trying. Laudanum addiction is a real deal.
That's right. You
That's a
handle this
made-up-
like
that's
an
a made-up
adult
sickness.
with a liter and a
Nobody
half of
believes
whiskey
that.
a day.
This seems like a good place to put this.
Stick to my bourbon thing.
That does look like a fine
And a
place.
rather large collection of candy.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, hey.
Does he
Oh,
own
let's just put
a
this son of a
two-door
bitch away.
carriage?
Away.
If I can say it once
Kill the
again,
Texan.
yucky.
Noted.
Yeah, well,
So you have the evidence. What is the findings that you're going to present to the judge?
well, I
when
have
you
to
leave the
remand
ship?
Mr. Ambrose Mason into custody to take him back for a Texas trial
I love how we didn't even talk to him.
for the murder of one of the.
I say, this is incredible. That's
He ain't woke up yet.
He woke up.
No, he has not
Very
woken up.
fragile.
When he wakes up, he's going to wake up in handcuffs, being hauled back to Texas, it would seem. Is that the final conclusion? And what are you going to do about Tucker and Sylvia?
Well, my new niece and nephew probably need a place to start over off the river. Have they ever been to Texas?
In fact, neither of them have been to Texas.
Congratulations, you're Texans now.
Alternately, is there any way that we can try and make sure that Mr. Mitch still ends up getting hold of that mining interest? Maybe he can help support him. I don't know if you got the means.
Well, I mean, he used Mr. Ambrose ran off with that contract, and we ain't found it yet. I mean, I imagine if we search his room, it'll be there. But there's no reason that deal can't still go down. It's just that it would have to go to the estate of the deceased.
True.
I mean, he can hold on to a deed as all he wants, and that might have held up 20 years ago, but it's the turn of the century, man. You can't even get away with that shit in Texas anymore.
It is modern times. Modern times require modern solutions.
In Jersey, maybe.
Everything's legal in New Jersey.
I did not think that my first assignment would go this way.
This is your first assignment? Like
I was
ever?
elected 3 days ago, yes.
Oh my God, you are an elected official.
It was like, you handed
Yeah.
the badge,
Oh,
you
man.
get shoved on a boat.
Wait, no!
On your first week.
On your first day, you are now.
Oh,
I was trying to be so good.
You have
I
let
was
the
ready
good
to-
people of
I was
Kansas
ready
City
to-
down.
I was ready to take them both to jail. You saw me. I was gonna do. Oh my God.
I remember my.
Why don't you go back and eat some of your fake ass barbecue? Let's get that.
Pinkertons are
Hold
always
on
hiring.
now. Hold on.
So what I tried to present to you guys tonight was a horrible moral dilemma. And, I succeeded in doing so.
Yes.
I mean, we didn't take very long to make that decision, though.
That guy was a lawyer. That's all I got to say about that.
A lawyer?
I mean, like, I
lawyer?
think
Like,
Mr. Ambrose was going to jail the second he got hit in the face.
And lawyer.
Like, how old's your kid? Mine's about 14.
And I also wanted to use it as a demonstration for this particular game how it doesn't have to involve people shooting and stabbing each other for the game to require dice rolls, be competitive, be interesting, and be involved. One of the other things I really love about this game setting, not just XP for killing monsters and looting things from people.
The nice part is, though, we could have shot everybody.
Absolutely. But it leaves room for a lot of approaches. And I thought presenting a moral quandary would be fun for today.
You do like that.
Yeah,
you son of a bitch.
you're very fond of it.
Yes, I am. Morality is a
not
flexible thing.
I'm not even mad about it. I'm just saying.
You ate an entire wheel of cheese.
So are we closing up shop?
We are going to close up
Yeah,
shop.
it's about
Zoe
8.
game night is something we do a little more relaxed than our other gigs, so I kind of slowed it
We
down.
better shoot for about a 2-hour window. Sometimes we go as long as 3, but like these are generally just little one-shot deals we're doing.
Yeah. Can I say something?
You
Yeah,
can say as
please
much
do.
as you want.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
hoping
Because
I'm
I wanna
hoping
hear
you're going
what
to.
you
Are you
Okay,
gonna? Are you
you've got
gonna?
a thing happening.
You
like,
better tell them all.
So,
Guys, you
please
can't
be
miss.
sure to keep your eyes on the Facebook page for Zombie Orpheus Entertainment because I've been working on some videos called Cooking with Caro, and they're small little
Hold on.
things.
Good job solving the murder on Zombie Orpheus Express. Everything I knew of cop shows tells me that as a guest star Brian solves the case, was a murderer or it's a backdoor pilot. Looking forward to Law and Order, Steamboat Victims Unit oink doink #chat.
Dum dum.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So cooking with Kara.
Cooking with Caro. Yeah, there's
That
gonna be
sounds
a
fun.
couple of videos.
It was.
The first one is gonna come up tomorrow. It was gonna be with Jesse Lee Keeter. I did one with Christian. I did another one with Alyssa Kay. And they're tons of fun. And we have like this person called not the geeky hostess. It's the gluttonous geek. Yes, the gluttonous geek is the one who made the recipes, and we just make the recipes and we have a good time doing it. So please check those out and like them and share them so everyone can see it because they're trying to
We
cross
also
promotion.
learn things while cooking, which is pretty cool, like olive oil in the oven. Not necessarily a great idea.
Not a great thing. Yeah. That's a
Not
fun
a great
experience,
idea.
yeah.
No.
No, and I'm to blame for that. Anyway,
But it's fun. Like it literally is funny because of it.
Could I suggest grapeseed for the future?
oh
Grapeseed.
sure, yeah.
Well,
He's right.
Lower
Avocado
burning
oil.
point.
I don't bake. Oh, that's the other thing is like it seems like when a lot of these kind of things, the person cooking seems like they're actually knowing what they're doing. I do
That's
not
not this
know.
show.
Yeah, this is not that
That's
show.
way more interesting that you don't.
Like, I have no idea what I'm doing, but we're just gonna do something. So anyway, keep an eye out for that. That's gonna drop tomorrow, and yeah, we had a great time. This was a lot of fun.
Thank
This
you
is fun.
very much
Yeah.
for joining us tonight and doing this. It was really
Yeah,
good
come
to
back
have you,
anytime,
a
man.
special guest.
I'd love to.
Glad
Please.
to have you here. Bring the fam. You know, we're always around to play games.
Sweet.
At
That's
least on
what
Thursdays.
That's what Thursday is all about. And if you ever had something that you particularly wanted to play or wanted to run, Thursday's open.
It's like, hey, I've had this game
all
on my
ZOE
shelf for
people.
12 years, and I've always wanted to play it, but never had anybody to play it with. Well, we're willing to break it out for at least an
Right
episode.
on. That sounds awesome.
It's the open forum for everybody involved with ZOE to come in and
We've even done
just
like-
hang out, have a good time.
We've even done playtest games that are, still in beta that haven't even been put out yet. We did that Demigods game that was
Yep.
really fun.
That was a ton of fun.
Wasn't that a blast?
It was,
that was a very interesting dive. into
Revenge of the
the-
Nerds meets Mount Olympus.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
power to buy the apocalypse is good stuff.
Yeah, fraternities of, demigods and mythical creatures and beings in competition.
Also, don't forget all the other great shows we have here on the Zombie Orpheus channel. You can catch Masters of the Metaverse on Monday nights. Death from Above is coming back soon, like really soon.
Really
We
soon.
we
Keep
don't
your
know what
ears
day
open.
Yet. We're working on that. Table
Stompy
Takes
Robots.
presented by Gen Con on Fridays in the mornings, which we host here on this channel as well. And obviously Game Night. Plus all of the updates you could ever hope to want about Journey Quest.
Yes.
Did you guys know that there's a Kickstarter for that going right now?
Oh yeah,
Going on now?
Really?
I know. What?
There's a Journey Quest Kickstarter going right
Right
now.
about now. Unless you're watching this in the future, and it might
In which
not be
case,
so.
Wow.
Yeah, if you're from the future, I want to say hi future.
That's wild stuff.
Hi.
Weird.
From the past.
So is there like a sign off thing or something, or we just say goodnight?
No, I think we're gonna. We love you all.
Basically say we
Thank you,
love you.
everybody.
Good night.
Have a good night.
See you next time.
Thanks so much.
Cool.
Sorry, I was such a stonewalling prick.
No.
That was great.
It was
It's fucking great.
so funny.